afternoon and welcome to another edition of the Chicago 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame. Today, we are totally thrilled to have on the people that have been involved with two great teams here in Illinois. To my left is going to be Peter Bria, and of course, Peter Bria and Jack Kelly, who were part of the Ironmen, who are going to be inducted on October 28th as a team. Again, this is Peter Bria to my left, and to my right, from the Lord softball team, a gentleman also who played and ran that team, Jimmy Donato. We're going to get into both teams, and again, being inducted on the 28th of October as these legendary teams that played from the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way through. Just a tremendous honor to have both of them on. So I'm going to start by doing it this way. Peter, welcome to the show here today. And Jimmy, great seeing you.
Thank you.
I want to start out by saying I want to thank Paul Rowan, our president, for again allowing us on Saturdays to have this spot here at the Chicago 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame, where here it is just great. We are live here right now. The jerseys, just the articles, everything. You walk around this room and you'll find out things about these two teams that we're going to talk about. I'm sure if we had some time, the Ironmen and the Lords. So again, I want to thank our great president, Paul Rowland, for this. And we have some people live in the audience today. And of course, Jack Kelly is here from the Ironmen, who was a big integral part of this. And the Chops is here also. And Steve Culp is here. So great. And Frank Lentine is in our audience today. So this is great. So, and I think we have some more people coming. So this is really nice. Peter, we'll start with you this afternoon. What does it mean for you when you get the call from a guy like Paul Rowan, the president of this great association here in Illinois, that you guys are going in? And you guys, this was formed in 1976 by Jack Kelly. What does it mean to you guys? Were you and Jack?
Well, it's an awesome feeling, you know, especially going in with your friends.
Right.
I mean, we're still friends today, and we do everything together. You know, we played ball over the years. We've gone to our kids' festivities, you know, and stuff like that as they get older, and we're still friends today. We still get together all the time.
That's fantastic. And you know what, at the end of the day, you look back at all those years and say, well, wow, that camaraderie that was built over the years, going out, playing these games, winning, losing together, and of course, everything with families. Jimmy, great seeing you, and I really appreciate it. Oh, this is great. How was it for you? Because again, for me, this word Hall of Fame, you know, in any capacity of any sport, it just means so much. I mean, this is not something where, you know, you're going to get tagged for doing nothing. What did it mean to you? I mean, this is a lot of effort. This is a lot of work over the years. What did it mean when Paul called you?
Well, I want to thank Paul first. And it's a great thrill because you're at the top of the mountain. Just looking around here, Jack, Steve, Chops, and it's maybe not for me, it's for the team.
Right.
Family, friendship, on and on and on.
Right.
And it's a great thrill. This is softball, 16-inch Hall of Fame that's it.
Oh, for sure. You know, before I go back to Peter here, I mean, I'm just looking at these league championships.
Yeah.
Your guys here, the Lords. You know, we're looking at just out of Broadview, Melrose, Westchester, Bellwood, Downers Grove, Westmont, Franklin Park, Lisle. I mean, the championships are you were undefeated 6 times with a 22-0 record in 1983, that's I think starts the dominance.
That started our streak of 3 years, finishing in the top 5 in the nationals.
Right.
4th in 83.
Yes.
5th and 5th.
5th and 5th in 84 and 85, and of course tournament champions here in Franklin Park, Trevor, Wisconsin, a couple of times, 88 and 91. In Westmont again here in 91, Suburban Life Tournament champions in 91. I mean, the list goes on, and Metro champions in Lisle and Woodbridge. Peter, which I found phenomenal here, of course, with you and Jack. You guys had a dominance, and of course, this was since 1976. And most of you, what I find great about this and the dominance you had. Most of this, players consisted were from Oakland High School, is that correct?
Right.
And during this, because you're playing at this high level, was it hard to get guys to be on the same page night in and night out?
I don't think so. I said, when we started, I remember Jack Kelly was asking guys, it's our senior year in high school, to see if he wanted to play softball. He's putting a team together,
Sure.
We just, he asked guys, and I don't know if we knew how good we were together. At that time, we were just asking a bunch of guys that hung around together and that. And I just think we came together right away as a team.
Right.
And we were a young team, and we knew we were good, but we weren't cocky enough to take it out on the other team. We would beat up ourselves, or kid around with ourselves.
Question for both of you, and I know Jack's in the audience here, I can see him straight on. But question for both of you, when you're picking this team, let's say 76 in the 80s and everything, are you looking for a certain, okay, we're gonna put this guy in left because he can run. That guy who plays short's got great hands. Was there a criteria in the minds of both of you? Jack, you can answer it. It'll pick it up. I'll ask you that question from there.
Well, we knew the guys at school. When I started the team, it was a lunch table in our senior year of high school.
Wow.
And like he said, there's still 12, 15 of us who've been friends for 40 some years, but when we first started out, we didn't know, or I didn't know where we're going to situate everybody until, we got out there, started practicing, and as we got in the league, we kind of find out, okay, well, he was mainly an outfielder, same with Steve, this guy could play infield, this guy, good hands, put him at first base, so as time went on, we pieced together the guys that were.
Sure. What, because you get to a certain level of the game, you need to have this, type of player. Jimmy, to feed off what they're saying, how was it for you, your plan, your manager, and you were telling me earlier that you were a pitcher, correct? So.
My later days, yes.
Yeah. How was it for you in the sense of, okay, we got this guy who can play center, this guy who can play short center, we got this guy who can play short. How was it for you in molding teams? Because you're not gonna win all these championships without the right formula, like Peter's saying.
What we would do each year, we would fill in spots. Softball teams, guys moved on, and we filled in what needs we had.
Right.
Chops, we need a good pitcher. We needed a left fielder, a center fielder. We would fill in every year.
Right.
You had to stay competitive.
Sure.
And because we took our lumps in early years from the Whips, a lot
Right.
of teams, the Bobcats are in earlier years.
Sure.
But you had to move on every year. You can't stay stale every year, and you got to fill in spots.
Because just from that, bringing that up, it is a learning experience. It's just like anything else. You make a mistake, you learn from the mistake, right? You learn from that mistake. Chops, I know you're in the audience, and as long as you can speak loud enough, did you find that the players that you played with over the years, there was a great camaraderie? Or did you find the guy that says, you know what, I should be batting fourth? Why is he leading off? Did you find dissension, or were you able, guys, to keep it together?
No, I came from a different team, and then Jimmy said, hey, come play with us. And there was about 6 or 8 of us that stood the test of time, 84, 85, 86, 89, and then on.
Right.
So that was a group of,
Yes.
group of 8.
So that shows, and I don't know, Pete brought it up here too, because I'm gonna mention, you guys had all your list of championships here and everything else. So again, to get to that point, there had to be this cohesiveness and everything else, because this is really, it's a total dominance here of things.
Chemistry too. It
Yes.
plays a big role. You can't bring in somebody that's going to hurt the team too.
Right.
We look for
Right.
that too.
Sure. Yeah. You're not gonna bring the guy that says, I want
I'm
to
the
do this.
greatest,
Yeah, I'm the greatest. I'm gonna do this on my own. I got 2 of my guys on. I'm gonna go for the fence because my girlfriend's watching from the stands. Exactly. Go back to you, Pete. I want to mention, because I don't want to do it at the end. They had put here in their bio, the Lords, that all the championships, and I'm sure how many. I didn't see. I know you guys dominated it. How many? Were there some special championships for you over the years?
Yeah, we started out in Oak Lawn. We won multiple championships in Oak Lawn, and there were teams there that were our Hall of Fame teams like, the Peppers, the Ducks and that, you know, in the same league. And then we went to Alsip, played out in Alsip, they had good teams out there, and then we wound up going to Mount Greenwood, which was good, it was a Sunday league, and it was a good softball league, a lot of major players that were there, when we were young, and didn't know nothing about that at that time, you know, so. But, the first year we went in there, we went undefeated in the league, and we went undefeated in the playoffs.
Sure.
And I remember one of the umpires, Joe Hoffman, you know, Joe Hoffman. He came up to us and goes, "You guys don't know who you beat." You know, and at that time, we didn't know who we beat because we were that young of a team and we were good, but we didn't know the players from the other team yet, you know, from softball.
And for the umpire, the guy who's gotta be biased to come up to you and say that off to the side.
Right.
That, I mean, that's just like, you know, that inflation of confidence right
Right.
there, that is something.
And then we went to Cal Park, Blue Island, played leagues there, played better competitions and well against competition. Won some championships there too, so. You know, and like Dolores did too, we would always add players.
Sure.
When we started to want more,
Right,
you know,
Right.
play against better teams, and we had to do the same thing. We had guys over the years,
sure,
you know, to
Sure.
get better, and they had to be a good fit too.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what you needed.
you know, I was always in like, let's say I'll pose this question to both of you. I'll always be like in a B league, like a park league and everything else. When you're building this team and you're both, and I'll let you answer it first, then we'll go back to Jimmy. You're building this team. When you said Greenwood and you said all these are predominant Southside teams, right? So now when you're coming to the north, let's just say you guys would have crossed paths and you would have played the Lords. Back in those days, as I always bring up in these podcasts, there's no Google, there's no YouTube. We don't know that Kelly can hit a ball 500 feet. We don't know that, you know, this guy's gonna hit a ball from the guy in the north can hit a ball this way. We don't know there's a slash hitter out there. How did that was really what I'm trying to get at is the era of the game. When you guys went from playing your dominant South teams to the North, what was the feeling?
Well, it was a little bit of an unknown sometimes because
Sure.
you didn't know the other teams, but you relied on guys that you picked up that might have played against some of these players and some of the teams
Sure.
with other teams. Relied on them and their knowledge, say, hey, this guy goes this way, this guy can do this can do that, and it helped out.
Sure, Jimmy, I'll go back to you. How was the feelings for you here? You're dominating here on the north side, you know, I mean, like I said, I have to be honest, if you play softball in the suburbs of Chicago during that era, you knew who the Lords were. You know, even when I was playing like in a little B park, I go, hey, you know, we might have won a game against somebody. Let's play the Lords. And people would say, a guy would come up and go, John, are you nuts? You know, you're not gonna play, you're not ready to play the Lords. But how was it now to play them on the South? Did you have that situation and were
Well, a lot of the tournaments we did, what I would do too, on, especially in all the leagues we were playing in, typical good example was this Phil's kids team. Back in the early 80s, we watched him, Mike Stout, Hall of Fame.
Okay.
He was playing with them. We talked to him, we got him, and he really made a good team out of us and a few other ball players. That's what you gotta do. You're scouting as you're playing.
sure?
And there's pick up guys right and left on your needs.
Right, exactly. Are you still involved in some capacity? Is this team still around?
And it's not around no more.
Okay,
Family wise, we are.
yes, which is fantastic. I know, as a matter of fact, I had a picture of this. I had a picture of this, of all you guys. I mean, just again, that camaraderie that, but and the name itself, the Lords, is not a
Not
I mean,
anymore.
a part of that, right? Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Before I go to this next thing, and there's gotta be, I mean, the awards here for both of these teams, and like I said, there's something here I wanna mention about the Ironmen as we get closer to the end. Here's my next question for both of you, and we'll start back again here with Peter. Peter, is there those couple of tournaments that still stand out on your mind that when you do get together with the Kellys and the guys, you know, with the Whites and Calendario, Rios, Caprio, when you get together with these guys, is there that one tournament or two tournaments that stand out in your mind? You say, hey, you remember that game? We were down by 4 runs and we came back and we beat those guys and those guys thought we had us. Is there that couple of tournaments?
Yeah, we
That you'd
did.
like to bring up?
Yeah, we had there was a Southtown tournament, the Southtown newspaper tournament. We did real well in there. I think we finished third there, and we had some comeback victories against some good teams,
Sure.
you know, at Hart Park. And
where you thought you were dead in the water, right?
yeah, yeah,
Sure,
you know, and then there was the other one would be some of the metros we were in. We were right at with top teams. You're right there in the last inning, and while the just missing out, but you still talk about it, how good it was, how good the thing was to get there,
Sure.
and some of the things we did, we joke around with the guys too. If somebody made a mistake or something like that, we kid around with them, but when somebody made a good play, hey, we were right
sure.
there for them too.
Right, exactly. Sure,
So,
sure.
but,
Yeah, those are the things, I mean, of these championships, or just even a regular game that could, stand out in the mind. Jimmy, what about you? Because I mean, what was amazing here in the early part of this interview today is that you didn't need the paper like I did. You remembered the years. Yeah, off the top of your head, I was like, wait a minute, this guy couldn't have rehearsed because he didn't know my question. But what stands out with you in these years? I mean, you said this started in '83.
83.
Yeah.
We played Spats and Harvey. They were the ex-national champs.
Okay.
We beat them like 6-5, and it was a very defensive game. Not another one was in lacrosse. We were playing the Flamingos, 84,
And where were they from?
Southside.
Southside.
And we beat them 29-28.
Holy
Every
cow.
team was going back and forth, back and forth. It was a fun game, fun
It
tournament.
became that clutch situation that they gotta run, you gotta run, you guys came back.
Too much stand out.
Wow,
And,
incredible.
But softball 16 is something, it's a great sport.
Oh, without a doubt. And I see a little bit of it, now the game has changed in the sense of, I think when we had our guests last week, they were saying to us that, we were playing every night of the week, right? I mean, you guys were playing every night of the week, and it didn't matter what, even Sundays, whatever league you're in. Pete, while you were doing this thing with the Ironmen, did you play on other teams? Even if, let's say, let me put it this way. I'm going to put it to both of you. Maybe this might be the craziest question of the podcast. Did you play on other teams? Maybe that you came in at, hey, we need a ringer. We get Kelly over here to play on Venus Travel. Can you get Kelly? Did that happen a lot, knowing that you guys had all these dominant players?
yeah, we had guys that were looking for players from our team.
Right.
Whether they were friends of ours or family or something like that. Yeah, I played on some other teams,
Right. Because this is a full-time resume. You're with
Right.
the Ironmen, so that's why.
Right, but we love playing softball. We play, like I said, 7 days a week. We play 8 days a week, if there
Sure.
was 8 days in a week. you know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Right.
But it's such a great game, and we were, you're young enough, and that's what you want. And I know a lot of the guys from the Ironman. We love playing in the leagues, but we love the tournaments on the league.
Oh, God, for sure.
That's one of the things we love to play.
Sure. Oh, my God, for sure. Jimmy, same thing for you. Did you have players that were, not only playing for the Lords, that had that time to go and do other things, but never interfered with you guys, right? The Lords were the number one, just like the number one was the Ironman, like Peter saying. Was there always this a call for hey Jimmy, we need this guy for this thing, or did yourself? Did you play on a lot of other teams?
Yes, a lot of teams. Matter of fact, I was talking to Frankie at one summer, myself and Mike Stout.
Okay.
I used to change, my wife would drive the car and tournament, we had the 3 different teams.
Wow.
During the whole weekend. One is with a 3-0 player was played in Merle's Park League 1 year, and they were playing Team Costafilios, and we had Ronnie Polizia come in.
Okay.
And he hit a 3-run home to win the game,
Jeez.
and they were screaming and yelling.
How I can imagine, that would, go on like that. Most of your players too, would you consider them at the level, and I'll go back to Pete, because I'm gonna mention some of the names on there, but were they pretty much, I mean, all these years, if you had to go look back since '83 to when this ended, well, when was the time that it ended for the Lords in the way of,
It's probably 89.
'89?
Yeah.
So there was a dominance here of 6 years.
They combined with a team.
Yeah.
Magic. And, they wanted me to help assist manager.
Right,
And I didn't take it. So they played 1 year together.
Got it.
And then they moved on to Jay Birds, 45s.
Wow. In those years, let's say '83 to '89, we said, '83 to all these players that you had, I mean, you look back on it, without mentioning a lot of names here, all-star caliber, all
Hall of Famers.
of Famers, yeah.
Mike Stout.
Yeah, oh, yeah, this
Sonny
is,
Stout.
Pat Hardy, Ronnie Aliciak, Betty Caputo, Ron, Martucciano. Yeah, sure, the correct pronunciation. I mean, these were some just unbelievable players. And again, like I said, that 1983 major national tournament, and then went on to 5th place in the '84 and '85. I mean, these are ASA major championships. Fantastic, just fantastic. Pete, I would like to. I'm gonna read a paragraph because that's how long it is. That's how long it is, and I just want a few sentence word when I mention when I'm done. Okay, so I'm gonna mention all these names now. Jack Kelly, Steve Culp, Peter Bria, Tim White, Frank Bubeck, Mike Cardellano, Frank Candelario, Chuck Rios, Rich Caprio, Bill Carlisle, Larry Zurich, Joe Donasso, Jerry Dorsey, Craig Podolick, Troy Monteria, Tracy Arnold, George Dempsey, George Daly, Joe Moms, Bill Dorick, if I pronounce it wrong, Dorick, Mike Clifford, Chuck DePalma, Larry Kelly, Jim Kelly, Frank Mione, Matt Clifford, Mark Rusnak, Joe Wenick, Ken Plonger, and many, many throughout the years. In one sentence, what can you say about all those guys I just mentioned?
Great players, and they knew the game, awesome friends,
Right.
you know, and we know to this day,
Sure.
and still talking.
Sure, and of course, I know some of us may not be here anymore. I know Frankie, that was a shock for all of us, right? And I know, I mean, this just the lineups here. So I have a few of the names here, Jimmy, that we just mentioned, like Stout, Verity, and Aliciak, and Caputo, yourself, Chops that's here in the audience. Any others that you know, I know you can't mention them all. I know you can't mention them all, but any other ones that are kind of like dear to your heart in this, because you're going in as a team.
We had 2 pass away in the last couple of years. Eric Sanders and Frankie Ponchop, great
Okay.
players,
Sure,
great friends.
great friends.
There's a whole bunch that went through our system, Joe Dooley. It was one after another, you know,
Sure.
now they're finally getting recognized over the last 10, 12 years.
Yeah, this is great that, you know, we have something like this because it means a lot. I don't care if it's after 3 years or if it's after 25 or 30 years. Some of all the Hall of Famers that I've talked to, I mean, really, truly appreciate.
Another
this.
2 names I want to mention.
Oh, sure.
Very dedicated sponsorships too. It's Louis Ruffalo and Mike Milligan. Great friends. They ran the financial part of our organization for years. And tremendous ball players too.
And Ruffalo, are they still around?
Yes, they are.
And will they be part of this? By the way, I'm gonna stop here just for a sec. On October 28th, year of 2023, the Ironmen and the Lords are going in as teams into the Chicago 16-inch softball Hall of Fame. A great honor. We're listening to some of the excerpts of how these guys got to the level that they got to, their dominance, their championships, their players. Again, October 28th, 2023, a great event. They'll be handled at the Drury Lane. And again, you always have to thank Paul Rowan for putting something like that together. All right, I'm going to give you 2 things before we close it off here a little bit, because I know you guys' times are valuable and maybe the wives are waiting or the girlfriends are waiting, right? What are 2 things? So, and I'll start with Peter. What are 2 things that stand out in your mind about all these years that you're like, well, my first question is this, Peter, would you do this all over again?
definitely would do it all over again. And to do it with my buddies, that makes it all the more worth it.
Right, without a doubt, without a doubt. But if it's a championship, if it's a game, if it's just a moment of, where you felt like the team needed a boost or camaraderie, what are two things that you remember that you still talk about to this day? Two things.
We talk about, the longevity of our team, how long we play together at a high caliber.
Sure.
We talk about different tournaments and stuff and league games that we had. For instance, one league game, we're playing a team, they scored 6 runs on us in the first inning and they're yelling downtown, we're doing this and that, we want to beat them 54-6. So, and we only played like 3 innings.
Right.
We talk about stuff like that, and that just the camaraderie would just talk, all us guys talking about that. Remember that we still talk this day. Our wives are probably tired of us talking.
Yeah, I know. And I love that you said that because they'll always say, how do you remember all this blankety blank stuff? Right. Chops, go ahead from the audience. Chops, is you Chapetta?
Yes. A couple of the guys that are mentioned from the Lord's team that really were the glue was our elder statesman, Johnny Prado,
Okay, Johnny,
and there was another guy named Paul Pavnik
Paul Pavnik.
and Bobby Johnson.
Okay,
They were there through the thick and thin, from the beginning to the end, and they were part of our core.
that's
And
fantastic.
they were outstanding players.
Outstanding players. It's
And,
fantastic.
and we're just a neighborhood doubles and singles team,
Right.
but that, it worked out all those years.
Sure, that's fantastic. Thank you for adding that to this, Jimmy, like I asked Peter, what are, again, this championship thing is unbelievable for both teams and the players that we've mentioned here today. But in your mind, after running it, and I just see the dedication and the passion in both of you here today. So what are a couple of things, like he brought up the game, that 154-6. What are a couple of things besides the championship that you said to yourself? Man, I like going here every night. I like seeing these guys. What is that thing that kept Jimmy Donato keep going with these boys?
Like I mentioned before, is all the family, the barbecues, all we talk about is softball, the wives talk to each other, the guys are always together, even in restaurants. The guys sit here, the girls sit there and we talk constantly about other games, tournaments. It's unbelievable the friendship build out of all.
Sure.
And it's not only about the wins, it's just what over a 10-year period that we did associate family wise. It's unbelievable. I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Sure. On that 28th, because I know Chops brought up these last 2 players that he brought up here.
Yeah.
How many do you think will be coming from your end on the Lord's? How many players? Because you're going in as a team on October 28th, 2000. How many do you think players will be there with you guys?
Right now, we got 17 people coming.
Wow.
I say 13 players.
13
A couple
players.
of them they passed away.
Sure.
A couple of them are living in Florida. And but we should have about probably 12 or 13 players.
Which will be really, that's a nice, I feel that's a nice turnout because it's basically a team turnout with something like that. Peter, and with you and Jack here, you got a kind of an idea because I want Rowan maybe to get 2 halls for that night if you could. How many people? How many guys from this team?
We got 34 people coming, and probably
Wow.
players are about maybe about 22.
20. So that's nice. And again, for both of you, 83, 76. This is over these players played over all these years, correct?
Right.
And which is,
Yeah.
and you do not find that nowadays.
Not the loyalty's gone.
The loyalty is gone, the disbandment, like, say you don't win one year, I noticed now with a lot of these younger teams, they're going another team to try to win. But this, I could see the cohesiveness, between both of you, and the pride and the passion for this was unbelievable. Well, again, this has been really something, Jack Kelly, anything you want to add before I close this off? I know you're in the audience.
you know. Nothing more than Pete said, but you know, John, I mean, we've had friendships, I mean, like 10, 12 or 15 of us have been friends for 40 some years.
Right.
And it's like, we're still back in high school, so, which is a great thing, but you know, the people that come and go, you know, that played on the team and went their way. Or team, or guys that are still playing now, they're still our friends, I mean, they're part of the team, and I'm happy, you know, that. The team got in as a whole,
Sure.
maybe an individual, which is fine, but the team got in, so there's some, they got recognition for what they did for all the years, so.
Sure.
So it's great for Paul to do that.
Oh, for sure. And I gotta tell you, and like Jimmy, Pete, yourself, the way these teams were managed, you know, there's gotta, you know, let's bring it back. If Pete was a guy or you were a guy that no one wanted to be, oh yeah, those two guys, they don't know what they're doing. You guys showed a passion for this game that every night, you know, you're ready, you know, you were ready to do, have a great work ethic as teams.
Well, and you know, back then, if you committed to the team, you committed.
Sure.
It wasn't like, you know, I can't make it tomorrow, I got, you know, you committed. I mean, there's so many family functions that we missed through the years because of softball, you know. Some guys took the hit on it, getting divorced, other guys, you know, were on the verge of it, but they held on.
Sure,
You
sure.
know?
You know, no, yeah, let's not go there, but
Yeah.
the thing is this, I think we had Mark Forgetto here and he said that night, hey, I would tell my wife if there was a christening on Sunday, he would say, you know, hate to say it this way, he'd say, christening, I'll see you after.
I'll see you at the restaurant.
Yeah, I'll see you at the, yeah, say, yeah, bring over the leftover. Last question for both of you. Again, I think I started this way. How does it feel that on October 20th, you guys are gonna get out of it? I mean, really, have you felt it? Have you?
It's sunk in, but I think that night it's really gonna sink.
Yeah, it's gonna sink in.
And to do it, like I said, with all my friends that we've been with for all the years. And played with all the years and are still together, like Jack said. And we still go to our kids' functions, whether
That's
it's a
fantastic,
graduation, a marriage, wedding, whatever. It's, you know, and we get together just to get together and it's gonna be a great feeling when everybody else.
Whenever he's there. Jimmy, for you that night, did you ever think from when you started this in '83 to now, this was gonna happen with these lords?
At that time, no, I didn't, but we grew, and it's agreed. We never had to look over our shoulders in the
Right.
parking lot for somebody, the dedication was there always.
Exactly.
And it's, for these other guys, they worked hard, some got divorced and all that, but it was just, it's for them, not for me. It's a team as a team, not
Sure.
an individual.
No I in team, exactly, no I in team. Well, again, on October 28th, 2023, at the Drury Lane, the Ironmen and the Lords will go in as teams into the Chicago 16-inch Softball Hall of Fame. And I always end it this way, whether it's an individual guest or it's a team. And I always put hands on the shoulders. You guys are part of a dominating bunch. Congratulations to both of you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jimmy,
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.